first dilemma is from That Boy Tim 13. I'm in first year of Advanced Technician Certificate in Mechanics. I'm a 19-year-old French student, and I don't know if I still want to pursue my studies. Since November, I started to skip some classes from time to time to create beats and write lyrics. I'm very passionate about music. I listen to a lot of music. I rap, I sing, I'm a DJ, and I even started to produce during lockdown. Without gassing myself up, I'm pretty good at it and I know I can have a decent career. The problem is that I'm scared of telling my family and my entourage that school is not interesting to me anymore, and that I want to follow my dreams because I know how they'll react. Let me just start off by saying this. I relate to you. Even though I'm not a musician, obviously, I have no musical talent whatsoever at all. I relate to you in the sense that, being in school I was 19 when I dropped out. Being in school at that age and knowing that there's something different out there for you, knowing that you want something different out of life, and being afraid to take that next step in your life because you're afraid of how other people will perceive you. Now, I'm going to give this to you in the most direct way possible because, like I said, I've been where you are. You have to follow your dreams. Okay, now I know that that's a very scary concept to a lot of people because, like you said, you're afraid of how your friends and family are going to, perceive you. You're afraid that they're going to see you differently. What I've learned over time is that that's actually a good thing. When you take that leap of faith on yourself, it's a very good thing because you see who the real ones are and who the fake ones are. Okay, when I decided that I was going to drop out of school and do YouTube, okay, and granted, when I started YouTube, I didn't think that this was going to be my career. I just started, just to try it out because I had nothing else to do because I had just dropped out. But when I started doing YouTube, I realized I have some very, very solid people in my corner. Okay, I realized that I have some people that are real life ride or dies. And those are the people that I've kept close with me. The people who, maybe weren't as supportive of my dreams, which now that I think about it, I don't think there was anybody who wasn't really supportive of my dreams. But if there was, then clearly I've forgotten about them. And, they haven't really served much of a purpose in my life since that time. So I think that it's very important for you to take that leap of faith, not only for your own sake in terms of, doing what you want to do out of life, because it is your life. You shouldn't be confined to a career that you don't want to pursue just to appease other people and their expectations. But also in the sense that you get to learn who is really supporting you, who is really in your corner. And, that's a great feeling. It allows you to cut off all the dead weight and focus on yourself and focus on what you want to do in life. Now, I will say this. Getting into the music industry is extremely difficult. Okay, I'm going to just put that out there. It's very, very difficult. I'd say it's a lot more difficult than being a YouTuber. But because you have access to YouTube and TikTok and all of these different social media platforms, you can use those tools to leverage your career and leverage your talents to put yourself out there. If you really believe that you have what it takes and that you're passionate about it. Okay, now, one thing that I will say is you said you think you can have a decent career. You need to be thinking bigger than that. Okay, I know it can be very intimidating at the start. It can be difficult to see, especially when you're conditioned to think a certain way. But you have to think bigger than that. Okay, you can't drop out of school and pursue a music career just so that you can make a decent living. You have to be thinking how you can get to the top of the top. Okay, that's where you should be thinking. Because even if you don't get there, which I'm not saying that you won't, but even if you don't get there, you'll still be living a really good life in which you're able to support yourself by doing what you love to do. Now, you're 19 years old. This is the time to do that. Don't spend any more time or money doing something that you're not passionate about. Okay, just put yourself out there. School will always be there. You can always go back to school. But if you know that your calling is somewhere else, it's time to go. The next dilemma is from John Lee. Someone is trying to start beef with me for no reason on Discord. I don't know. I'm mad right now because the reason he's trying to be an asshole because he said apparently I'm a terrible person. Sure, why not? Okay, John Lee, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I have no idea what you're talking about. Absolutely no idea what you're talking about. But the one thing that I did get from that is internet beef. So I'm gonna touch on that. Okay, to anybody who's dealing with internet beef, this is a real problem. And not only internet beef, but just dealing with criticism and haters on the internet in general. This is something that I struggled to deal with for a long time because I wasn't used to criticism. I was not used to criticism, especially at the level that I was getting it. Even though I don't really have that many haters right now. I still wasn't used to receiving criticism at all, really. One thing that really helped me out is realizing that these people are only saying the things that they're saying because they're on the internet. Okay, a lot of these people, 95% of the people who talk, all types of mess on the internet would not say that to you in real life. Let's just keep it real. Okay, most people would not say that type of stuff to you in real life, face to face. And I'm not even saying, if you have a platform, even if you're somebody without a platform and you're in the comment section arguing with somebody. Okay, those people are only saying the things that they're saying, talking the way that they're talking, because they know that they're protected by the distance between you. Okay, you might not even know where that person lives. So my advice to you is to just completely ignore them. Either ignore them or send positivity their way. Because a lot of times the people spreading hate on the internet are only doing that because they hate their lives in real life. Okay, do you understand how miserable you have to be to go out of your way to spread negativity online? I don't think I've ever disliked a video, much less leave a hate comment or go out of my way to spread negativity, because I don't see the point. My life is not that miserable to where I feel the need to do that. Now, when you come from that place of compassion, and I don't even want to make it sound like I'm patronizing those people, but just understanding that, their perspective is different because they're harboring a lot of negativity in their lives right now. If you spread positivity their way, you go out of your way to spread positivity, that might change their life. You never know what somebody's going through behind the scenes, especially over the internet. You don't know these people. So when you learn to either spread positivity or just completely ignore them, 9 times out of 10, that's going to completely resolve the issue. The one time that it doesn't, that's what the block button is for. The next dilemma is from Cameron. In all seriousness, I need help cutting off this girl. I hate being an ass, but Jordan, help me out. Also, Jordan, what's your dilemma? It's always about us, but you never tell us your dilemma. If you have to cut off a girl, I think it depends on the situation. Okay, it really depends on the situation. Because some people, communication is key. Like, you should tell them, hey, I don't think that, it's best if we continue talking. But sometimes, man, you just gotta completely cut people off. Now, I'm not one to ghost. Okay, ghosting was never my style. I was always more of an open communicator. If I felt like a situation was no longer serving me, I would tell them, like, hey, I don't think this is working out. But I understand that depending on the situation, if she is stalking you or something like that, then yeah, you need to completely cut her off. But like I said, I think that you should try communicating with her. Tell her that it's not working out for you. Tell her why it's not working out for you. And while it's not your responsibility to make sure that that doesn't hurt her feelings, me being the person that I am, I would kind of deliver that message in a way that is a little more compassionate, if that makes sense. But obviously, that's up to you, and that depends on your relationship with that girl, if the relationship even exists at all. Now, as far as my dilemma, I think the biggest dilemma I've been facing recently, and you might not understand this, okay? The people watching this, you guys might not understand this. But I think as a YouTuber, and this is something that a lot of YouTubers go through actually, I've been struggling to find the balance between structure and fluidity. I've learned personally that I need to honor the season that I'm in. Shout out to Heinz. But I need to honor the season that I'm in. Sometimes there will be seasons where, I'm supposed to be very, very structured in my routine, in my day-to-day life. Other times, I'm supposed to just go with the flow. And I think that right now, it's time for me to go with the flow. And that's very difficult for me to come to terms with because obviously growing up through the school system, for 15 or so years, of course, I developed an attachment to structure. I developed an attachment to, all of my days looking more or less the same. But as a YouTuber, if I do that, I'm robbing myself of the freedom to create at my own discretion. And it's very difficult because obviously I'm a self-improvement YouTuber and discipline is something that I preach quite a bit. And so in my mind, I want to be waking up at the same time every day, going to sleep at the same time every day. I want my days to look more or less the same, but that's not the way that my mind works. Okay, that's not the way that my mind works because I have that creative side of me that gets random sparks of inspiration at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I have to honor that. Otherwise, I'm robbing myself of the ability to express my thoughts. And also, I'm robbing you guys of the ability to, consume my message that I might have. And like I said, it's very difficult for me to come to terms with that because all of my days look completely different. Some days I might wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Other days I might go to sleep at 6 o'clock in the morning, all within the same week. And, it's difficult not only for my mind to process, but for my body as well. Trying to find consistency with the gym, putting on muscle, things like that. It's a lot more difficult without that structure. But, I've learned to kind of put YouTube first, right after my mental health, that is, and just find structure where I need to find structure. Right now, my main sources of structure are YouTube, my relationship, and the gym. Outside of that, my life is completely fluid and free-flowing, which I think is good for my spiritual development. But to anybody else who's going through the same thing that I'm going through, I'll say this: honor the season that you're in. Right now, this is not a season for me to be, structured. And obviously, I'm very grateful to have this type of problem because this problem only occurs when you have more time than you know what to do with.